This is a report on Clorox's marketing changes that resulted from the COVID-19 pandemic. Clorox's business partner relationships influenced the company's outcome in the COVID-19 pandemic. Clorox increased contract suppliers and manufacturers and avoided the impacts of some raw material shortages. Clorox has decreased some business supplier and manufacturer relationships due to the COVID-19 pandemic becoming endemic. Clorox product production is set up and prepared to deal with future pandemics. Clorox is utilizing multiple ways to prepare for future pandemics, including installing the Clorox Supplier Center and implementing their business partner code of conduct. Trying to stay safe and healthy during the COVID-19 pandemic can be challenging. At the start of the pandemic, the Clorox company experienced a 500% increase in demand for its disinfectant products. Although most people get only mild symptoms when contracting COVID-19, others develop more severe complications affecting the lungs, brain, and heart. As of today, there's no cure for COVID-19. Fortunately, there are preventative measures that help minimize the spread of the virus. The Clorox company has teamed up with the Cleveland Clinic to provide support and general education to households and families about COVID prevention. Clorox offers an array of cleaning products that are effective against COVID-19, including new variants of COVID-19 strains. The products listed here in the slide received approval from the Emerging Pathogen Policy for kill claims against COVID-19 when used as directed on hard, non-porous surfaces. Clorox claims that all its disinfecting products are registered with the United States Environmental Protection Agency, which notably states their ability to kill germs. However, not all Clorox products are effective against COVID-19. Clorox's website provides a complete list of effective products that fight against COVID-19. Cleaning means physically removing dust and dirt, but doesn't necessarily eliminate germs. And sanitizers can reduce bacteria, but it doesn't necessarily eliminate them. However, disinfecting can effectively eliminate bacteria and viruses. Clorox sells several bleach products. Some are labeled as disinfectants and others not. According to Clorox, a consumer should check the label to determine if a product disinfects. Clorox states that it's important to remember that if the word disinfect or disinfectant is not on a product's label, a solution probably isn't EPA registered to kill germs or viruses that cause the cold, flu, and COVID-19. So, it's important to remember if someone has just recovered from a virus, it's best to disinfect, not sanitize, surfaces because EPA-approved sanitizers only have claims for bacteria. In contrast, disinfectants have claims against both bacteria and viruses. Cleaning means physically removing dust and dirt, but doesn't necessarily eliminate germs. And sanitizers can reduce bacteria, but it doesn't necessarily eliminate them. However, disinfecting can effectively eliminate bacteria and viruses. Clorox sells several bleach products. Some are labeled as disinfectants and others not. According to Clorox, a consumer should check the label to determine if a product disinfects. Clorox states that it's important to remember that if the word disinfect or disinfectant is not on a product's label, a solution probably isn't EPA registered to kill germs or viruses that cause the cold, flu, and COVID-19. So, it's important to remember if someone has just recovered from a virus, it's best to disinfect, not sanitize, surfaces because EPA-approved sanitizers only have claims for bacteria. In contrast, disinfectants have claims against both bacteria and viruses. The pandemic was a period of uncertain times for all organizations. Consumers were frantically roaming shopping centers for Clorox items, buying them in bulk. This surge in demand forced the business to search for ways to meet the overall increase. This meant greater expansion as well as new capacity. Customers were wiping shelves clean, leading to supply shortages, which meant that Clorox had to ramp up manufacturing. This placed pressures on consumers, stores, as well as Clorox. There was a pressure on consumers because they demanded a product that was being hoarded by all. Stores were having to put limits on cleaning items due to the bulk buying issue, and Clorox had to quickly put together a growth plan. Not only did COVID place intense pressure on the overall Clorox company, forcing them to compile an efficiency plan, but it also brought forth various scam tactics. Consumers were rushing to purchase Clorox products that were found to be out of stock. Therefore, they searched for these products elsewhere, whether it was through the internet or even in person. People began stumbling across counterfeit goods. These were presented as Clorox goods with a major price increase in order to generate a profit. This significantly impacted the company in the sense that they had to take it upon themselves to address the issue, preventing vulnerable consumers from being scammed. Due to the increase in demand, as mentioned above, Clorox had to take a step back, essentially evaluating and taking action on what areas needed the most funding, meaning investments had to be made when it came to the production process and skill sets had to be analyzed. Clorox's main goal was to speed everything up in order to meet the demands of stores as well as consumers. Another essential goal of the company became reporting and updating to the public. Since scams as well as fake products were surfacing, it was the job of Clorox to keep customers informed of this issue as well as update them on where the products are and at what price they are available. This is due to the fact that during COVID, price gouging became the norm. This is where the SMART goal comes into play because these obstacles arising due to COVID were the threats that forced Clorox to define the strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities. The opportunity taken was the idea of addressing concerns to consumers through their website. Clorox's main page is mainly about COVID, making the news easily accessible to anyone. By measuring the process time, the organization is able to conclude if the efficiency has overall improved. Although Clorox has competitors, they seem to not be as known because Clorox is dominating the market when it comes to their specific products. The main competitors are Church & Dwight, Henkel, Henkel North America, Beiersdorf, and Colgate-Palmolive. What does Clorox do differently to stay above competitors? The competitive advantages that Clorox possesses include strong shelf space with retailers, the brands contained in their portfolio, and the growing customer loyalty through attractive marketing. In regard to the pandemic, this period of time strengthened the organization's competitive advantage because of the specific approach the company took when it came to ensuring that store shelves were restocked and that customers were knowledgeable about the possibility of buying a false product from other parties. For the longest time, Clorox has always been associated with bleach. All of their products have been proven to effectively kill off bacteria, viruses, and even COVID-19. They are all guaranteed to kill 99.9% of all harmful germs. The pandemic was a perfect opportunity for Clorox to profit and become a leading and important company in health and wellness during 2020. The company spent $581 million on advertisement alone between 2009 and 2019. Clorox was most focused on young people ages 25 and up. Millennials are also the exception to the target market. Generation Z grew up seeing all the various Clorox products. Therefore, it was easier for them to associate themselves to the product as adults. On the other hand, during the pandemic, Clorox's target market became all ages of consumers. Clorox was of importance during this time. Health, cleanliness, and well-being were top priorities. Clorox sales skyrocketed during the pandemic. Being clean, safe, and well was on everyone's minds. Clorox had to make 1.5 million canisters of their product every day in early 2021. Clorox's disinfecting wipes are the company's most purchased products in the world. There were moments of shortages that made it difficult for the company to continue to meet supply and demand because people believed that Clorox products were guaranteed to kill most households' germs. At the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, the world seemed as if it would always be as it has been. However, in the blink of an eye, everything changed. This is because COVID-19 started to take its toll on not only America, but the entire world as we know it. The store shelves were empty. Everything from toiletries to dried food and even cleaning supplies flew off the shelves, initiating not only the limitation of items all across the store, but also a lockdown that would change the way consumers looked at shopping trips as a whole. During this time, in-store shopping had taken a plummet to numbers not seen since the Great Depression. However, when this issue arose, it was not long until many stores had taken the initiative to embrace the new normal by adapting incentives to their customers' needs. They did this by giving their customers new ways to shop online. Take Publix, for example. Prior to the pandemic, you would never hear about someone ordering their groceries online and having them picked up and or delivered to their house. But this is exactly what happened. Publix started taking orders online, and by the customer's choice, they could either come and pick their groceries up in the car and have an employee bring them out to their car, or one of the employees would receive the order, shop around for them, and then have someone deliver it to their house. This then created a very high demand for Clorox products, with people demanding more and more household cleaners such as bleach, wipes, sprays, and many more products that the consumers would be wanting during this trying time. Clorox could not keep up with the demand, and they were selling out more than they could produce. At one point, there had been no cleaning supplies available at all due to the fact of some factories having to completely shut down, and it took months for the company to recover from this struggle. In regards to making recommendations as to what should be done in order to improve customer service, it is important to take into account that not only are they producing the most wanted product in America, but this company also needs to take into account that they will also be the most highly contacted company as of this moment, because people are wanting more and more of their product in order to protect their families. While it is normal to want to respond individually to every person, it is nearly impossible to respond to all of the incoming questions within a timely fashion. Our team recommendation is that instead of simply ignoring the people or responding to each individual concern over the course of a few months, it would be best to make one large announcement answering a few of their most common questions. There has been a big impact on Clorox sales as a whole during the COVID-19 pandemic, with a jump by 32% in 2020 in the first quarter alone, and by the third quarter it had increased another 31%. Not only did Clorox have an increase in their cleaning products, but the rest of their products took a major jump as well. These products include lifestyle segments, which are inclusive of food, water filtration, natural personal care, and a variety of dietary supplements. As this pandemic has stretched on, Clorox soon became second most essential company in the United States, along with being the #1 position in the country for integrity. A survey was taken by the Harris Poll Essential 100, where they surveyed more than 2,000 Americans in order to acquire these numbers. They wanted to initiate this survey in order to find out just how the average person, along with businesses, are responding to the pandemic. The average consumer has had to not only change their lifestyle due to this pandemic, but they have also had to change their way of shopping. This could be anything from simply changing the time to which you go to the store, or change your level of priority for which products you go to first after entering the store. For example, when you used to enter the store and take your time browsing around, now priorities may be to get the staples such as toilet paper, rice, beans, and soap, and then leave as quickly as you can as to not spend too much time indoors. This may all be affected depending on one's level of income, age, and occupation. It is believed that this high demand of Clorox will outlast the COVID-19 pandemic because it has been burned into the consumer's brain of being as clean as possible as to not catch the virus. Some people have begun to take heed upon this shockwave, and they have begun to form some small version of a stockpile of cleaning supplies in their home. And while many people are currently just living off of that, others have also noticed that this shortage could come at any time in the near future again. And as they continue to buy in order to keep their stock up and rotated. This has been very good for the Clorox company because while other companies fade into the background, Clorox continues to stay in the limelight and is mass producing the products in order to keep up with the demand. It is hard to predict what the future will bring when we as a society are very dependent on our local stores in order to provide for us every week. Clorox has been on a freight train of sales for the past 2 years, and they have no intention of slowing down. As long as the people keep buying, they will keep producing at a staggering rate. Consumers are everything to businesses because without them, the companies would not be able to keep their head above water, and based on the recent buying trends and continuous uptick in sales for Clorox, they seem to be a company that will hold the reins for a long time to come. With the demand of cleaning supplies increasing due to the global pandemic, Clorox has to increase their production to keep up with the high demand of consumers. While sales at the company increased overall by 22%, the company's health and wellness segment sales, which includes its disinfectant products, shot up by 33%. In terms of net cash from operations, Clorox made $1.5 billion in its fiscal year 2020, up 56% from the previous year's take of $1 billion. The company is expected to increase sales between 10% to 13% in fiscal year 2021, up from prior year projections of 5% to 9% growth, expanding production and inventory to meet the exceeding market so sales are not lost due to inventory or production. Clorox reported an increase of 17.75% in operating expenses, the highest percent increase for Clorox. As stated on the Clorox website, in the face of a challenging environment, we continued to advance our Ignite strategy and key priorities, including doubling our innovation investment and delivering over $120 million in cost savings in the fiscal year. The Ignite strategy accelerates innovation in key areas of Clorox and integrates environmental, social, and governance priorities into our decision-making. Examples like 100% recyclable, reusable, or compostable packaging by 2025, 100% renewable electricity in the U.S. and Canada in 2020. During the pandemic, millions of sales were lost due to the empty shelves and panicked buyers. With Clorox executives having acknowledged the company left sales on the table because of stockouts during the pandemic. Improving supply was Rendell's mandate when she took over as CEO in 2020. Growth in the market with cleaning products is expected to reach $341.6 billion by 2030. Clorox will work to eliminate third-party price gouging as well as introduce new products to flourish the market. With a market size value at $218.9 billion in 2020 and a $122.7 billion increase over 10 years. The market growth for cleaning supplies is at an all-time high. With recent stockouts, third-party services have increased the use of utilizing Clorox products for sale, profiting, and affecting the demand for cleaning supplies. As stated on Clorox's website, we have joined the call by the U.S. Department of Justice to combat price gouging and are collaborating with law enforcement in connection with third-party price gouging inquiries regarding disinfectant products. We are taking aggressive steps to address online price gouging activities, including partnering with platforms to combat price gouging in the third-party marketplace. Clorox is innovating and expanding with more household products like Brita, Burt's Bees, Fresh Step, Glad, Hidden Valley, and Kingsford. Reference page.